And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the midweek Flagler Weather Update. Today is the 4th of February, 2026. It is 6 p.m., and we're just going to do a quick roundabout update here. We do have some weather changes coming in, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to do an update also on the current drought situation and how that stands, and outlook too into the future and see what is expected. So, it's been a beautiful day today, rather dry, and we'll get into that bit in just a little bit. But you see this layer of cloud coming in. This is a cold front. And so this little warm spell we've enjoyed is going to be very short-lived. Some cooler air is on the way, but not as cold as it's been. We're going to see a cool down, but again, not significantly. So this front will be coming through here, but it's also going to give us some rainfall, and we definitely need that. So let's take a look at that real quick. Take a look at a weather radar from the National Weather Service. You can see some light to moderate rain starting to move in. It's very slow to get this direction, maybe getting up a quarter inch or so of it. And we'll get some more detail on that in just a moment. So let's talk about some of the concerns that are going on out there right now. Elevated fire danger. We have already had several wildfires, and we're going to talk about that in just a bit. So drought conditions continue across the area. And there could be a freeze at inland locations. Let's talk about the dryness again. Don't start the next wildfire. Please do your part. Any ignition source outside can start a fire. So please make sure that you're doing what you can to prevent wildfires from starting up. Freeze watches, but these are inland locations. Small craft advisories, because it's going to get quite breezy once that front comes through, especially tomorrow, gusting up to 30 miles an hour. Better than that. And a drought monitor right now, Flagler County sits squarely in severe drought, which is condition D7. And you can see that right here. But there are areas worse than us. And again, we are going to talk about that a little bit later on. So what's going on here? So we do have the front coming in, a couple of pressure systems on. Again, not as potent as a storm that we had over the weekend that gave us the snow flurries and all that stuff. So we're not looking at anything like that. So by Thursday, this pulls off to the east of us. Maybe some leftover showers, but high pressure builds in, cooler high pressure. But then high pressure comes in and generally takes over the entire region going into the weekend, keeping things settled and dry. But there will be a chance of rain. So how much of a chance of rain? Well, let's talk about that. So first, let's talk about hang on, my cat's bothering me. Hang on, Athena. Anyway, so this is live, and we have to deal with the live things that happen. So let's talk about rain chances right now for tonight. Pretty good chance of rain county-wide, 80% chance as we go across the entire county. That's definitely good news. We do need that. So we're looking at those rain chances staying up here. We're expecting the rain to start in after midnight tonight, and a couple rounds of it or so, maybe a good solid spell of it. Beneficial rainfall, definitely needed, and hopefully, that'll help put a little bit of a lid on some of the brush fires and such we've been having. So that's for tonight. Tomorrow, about a 40-50% chance of rain during the course of the day, but things will be decreasing as we go through tomorrow. Then through the rest of the week, we stay dry right into the weekend and then early next week. So this is the only real good chance of rain that we have coming at us for the next 7 days, and that's tonight. Again, the best chances will be after midnight, going on into tomorrow morning. Let's talk about how much rain we're going to get. Sadly, not a whole lot. Maybe a quarter to a half inch of rain. We'll take it, though, but we could probably do with a lot more to get us out of drought trouble. So let's talk about temperatures now, how temperatures going to play out. For tonight, we're looking at lows largely in the 40s, upper 40s to near 50 at the beaches overnight tonight. Tomorrow, we're going to struggle to get to 60, so definitely much cooler than it was to start with, but you're going to see those temperatures start to fall tomorrow, but not as cold as it's been as of late, so that's definitely some good news there. And then as we go into Friday morning, we're looking at maybe getting close to a freeze, so temperatures flirting with that freezing mark as we get into Friday morning, so another chilly day. And then Friday, we're going to get back to about 60. Again, not as cold as of late. So maybe a freeze Thursday night, Friday morning. But as we go through the rest of the weekend, look for lows in the 40s, highs in the 60s, and then getting near 70. And as we go into early next week, Monday, high temperatures, lower 70s, low temperatures, mid 40s or so. And we stay that way into, getting into the mid 70s by Tuesday. So things look to be warming up. So the good news is the rain. The good news is the warm up. The bad news is not as much rain as we'd like to get. Let's talk about winds real quick because that is a concern as dry as things are. So for tomorrow, it's going to be a little breezy, gusty day, gusting up to about 20, 25 miles an hour out of the northwest behind that front. Going through the rest of the week, though, we don't really see any significant problems with winds, and that's also good news as well. So let's talk about where things are going. So our outlook here, let's go ahead and talk about the 6 to 10 day outlook. This takes us to February 14th. It looks like we are going to be starting on a warming trend. That's good news there. So precipitation, however, maybe a little bit below normal. We could use that above normal precipitation, but I just don't see that in the cards, at least for the next 2 weeks. Going further until February 18th, look for definitely a warming trend, averaging above normal temperatures, and rain chances again below normal. We do need those rain chances to kick in here. Okay, let's talk about drought index right now. So Flagler County is setting at about 436 or so on the drought index scale. How does the drought index work? Well, generally, if you're down here at 0, you're basically, flooded. Your ground is fully saturated. If you're up here at 800, then you're as dry as you can be. So this is a scale that they use to determine fire danger, or at least one of the things they use. So when you get above 500 is when you really start having problems. So right now, we are between 400 and 450. We're in this range right here. And you can see that right here, Flagler County. There's some areas a little bit drier than others, but we're not as bad as other parts of the state of Florida. Off to the west of us, it gets significantly worse, and then further off to the west and further to the south. Panhandle's looking pretty good here. So right now, again, we're sitting right around a little over 400. Again, when you get over 500 is when you start having a problem. So let's talk about fires now. There's quite a few around us, and over in Putnam County, anything red is an active wildfire. Anything that's tan is contained. So here in Flagler County, we had a fire over the weekend. This is the Graham Swamp Fire, they call it. It is 10 acres, 100% contained, and no further problems with that one. We had a mulch fire over by Bunnell. That fire is also now contained, about an acre, almost 2 acres. It's 100% contained, no problems with that one. And then we had another one down here in southeast part of the county off of Old Kings Road. Better than an acre and a half, also 100% contained, no problems with that one. However, the new one on the block is this guy right here. And this is an active fire. It is 100 acres right now. It is still active. There are Flagler County Fire Rescue, Florida Forest Service units working this fire right now. And so the winds are coming out of the southwest and the west. So if you're anywhere, Flagler Beach, Southern Palm Coast, anywhere in this area, you're going to be seeing the smoke from that. We'll take a look at that in just a minute on some of the weather cameras. But that is, downwind of that fire. So what does this mean? As dry as things are, we will likely see more pop-up brush fires as we go. That's the biggest one in the county right now, and that one is also active. But hopefully we will get some rainfall tonight if the forecast is right, and that'll help knock this one down and help give us a little bit of a break and a little bit of a reprieve before we start drying out again. And sadly, I think we will start drying out again. So let's take a look at some weather cameras, chiefly the one off the Hammock Dunes Bridge. And if we go here, and you can get to this by going to flagler.weatherstem.com. Again, flagler.weatherstem.com. Look at the Matanzas River camera. You can see that smoke plume right there on the horizon, and that is from that fire that is down south of Corona. That's now 100 acres. Fortunately, there's not been any reports of any structural loss with that. But it is going to impact that area there, and fire crews are in attendance on that fire. So looking off to the north now, see how things look going the other direction. Now, see this cloud cover here? That is that cold front coming in from the north. And so cloud will thicken up later on tonight as that front closes in. If you look really closely here, you can see another smoke plume. That is a prescribed fire up there near Matanzas State Forest up at Princess Place. And prescribed fires are important because what they do is they help mitigate against uncontrolled wildfires. They pick an area that really is grown over, and they'll do a prescribed burn there, and that helps mitigate the big wildfires, and which can be quite destructive if they get out of control. So that's where all that stands right now. Again, just a quick review of our wildfire situation. We have 4 fires ongoing in the county. These 3 are contained, no concerns. This one right now, 100 acres, and if you're seeing smoke out there, especially the southern part of the county, this is where it's coming from. Flagler Fire Rescue Resources, as well as the the Florida Forest Service, they're all working that fire, so that's definitely good news. So that's going to wrap things up. In short, expect a spell of rain overnight tonight into maybe tomorrow morning. Expect a cool down, maybe a little bit of a freeze getting into Thursday night, Friday morning there, but not like we've had. And then temperatures slowly recover as we go into the weekend and continue into next week with settled and dry conditions. Everybody out there have a great rest of the day. Again, if you're just coming in, you want to rewind this, you'll be able to do that. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on the weekend.